Let me guess. You opened a crochet pattern, looked at it, and immediately decided YouTube's easier because this does not look beginner friendly. It looks like somebody dropped the alphabet soup onto a page and added parentheses for drama. You got abbreviations, random numbers, commas, asterisks, and somehow you're all supposed to pretend like this makes sense. And the worst part, you probably already know how to crochet. You know how to make the stitch, but translating this into this is where people get stuck. But by the end of this video, you're going to understand how to actually read crochet patterns. And honestly, most beginners struggle because nobody teaches you how to read crochet patterns. So in this video, I'm going to break down the biggest things that confuse crocheters, simplify all the confusing pattern language, and help written patterns finally start making sense. And if you're new here, hey, I'm Alicia of Little John Yarns, and I make crochet tutorials that help you understand crochet so you're not blindly following along and hoping for the best. So if that sounds helpful, make sure you subscribe. And if crochet patterns have ever made you question your reading comprehension, hit that like button because this video is definitely for you. Now, before we even start reading patterns, you need to understand one important thing. Crochet patterns are written in shorthand. That's it. There's no big secret. They're not trying to torture you. They're just trying to fit a lot of instruction into a smaller space. It's kind of like texting abbreviations. If somebody texted you IDK, BRB, and you've never seen that before, it would probably look ridiculous. But once you know what it means, your brain reads it automatically. Crochet patterns work the same way. Let's start with abbreviations because this is where a lot of beginners panic. You already know how to do a single crochet, but when you see SC in a pattern, your brain suddenly forgets everything, and that's normal. You're trying to connect letters to hand movements. Now, almost all crochet patterns use abbreviation to shorten their instructions. You do not need to memorize all of these immediately. Seriously, most crocheters learn these naturally through repetition, and if you forget what one of them means, don't panic. Most crochet patterns, actually all crochet patterns, has a key or abbreviation section that tells you exactly what all of these abbreviations mean. So if a pattern says SC or single crochet in the next 5 stitches, that's literally just means single crochet in the next 5 stitches. That's it. And honestly, once you realize that, patterns start feeling way less intimidating. And here's the tips that helps a lot. Read the patterns out loud. Seriously, because instead of seeing random letters and symbols, your brain starts hearing actual crochet instructions. Single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And suddenly it all starts to make sense. And this is also why I put written rows directly above the screen in all of my videos while I'm teaching. So instead of just copying what I'm doing, you're naturally connecting the abbreviations, the written instructions, and the hand movements all at the same time. Now, let's talk about the part that makes patterns terrifying. Repeats. Because you'll see something like single crochet in the next 2 stitches, 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Repeat 7 times. And suddenly it feels less like a crochet pattern and more like somebody's trying to sneak math into your favorite hobby. But repeats are actually one of the easiest parts of the pattern. You're just repeating the same sequence over and over again. Single crochet, single crochet,
2 single crochet.
in the next stitch. Now you're going to go back and repeat it again. And patterns usually show repeats in a few different ways. Sometimes the repeated section is inside parentheses. That simply means repeat everything inside the parentheses a certain number of times. Other times patterns use asterisks, and honestly, the first time people see that, their brain immediately shuts down. But all the asterisk is marking the section that needs to be repeated. It's basically saying, hey, repeat this part. So now let's actually read one of these patterns together. Now, let me read this out loud exactly how I would crochet it. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches.
Single crochet
In the next stitch. Repeat from asterisk. So now I go all the way back to the beginning, asterisk, and do the same thing again. Now, let's talk about stitch count because these little numbers at the end of the row are important. That number tells you how many stitches you should have after completing a row. Think of it as a checkpoint. The pattern's basically stopping you and asking, hey, are we still here together? Because if the pattern says you should have 24 stitches and your count is 31, something happened. And honestly, stitch counts are there to help you. They help you catch mistakes early before you continue through the entire project because, trust me, finding one mistake after 3 rows is way better than finding it after 30. Now, another reason patterns feel overwhelming is because beginners try to read the whole row all at once. Don't do that. Instead, break the row into smaller sections. Read to the next comma. Stop. Do that part. Then move to the next comma or period. Now, let's test your new crochet reading skills. I'm going to put up 3 pattern rows on the screen separately. Each one is going to build off the last one, so don't panic if it looks intimidating. I promise you, you already know most of it. All right, let's start with the first one. Now, let's read it slowly and crochet at the same time.
Chain 1. Single crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip the next stitch and 2 single crochet into the next stitch. 1 and 2.
Now, let's level it up. Now, this one introduces parentheses. And remember, parentheses usually group stitches together. So everything inside the parentheses gets repeated. So let's read it out loud and crochet.
Chain 1. Single crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we reach the parentheses. 2 single crochet into the next stitch. 1 back into the same stitch. 2. Now single crochet into the next stitch. Now we'll just repeat that section 3 times again.
So instead of rereading the whole row over and over again, the pattern groups the repeated sections together to save space. Now, let's make it look even more scarier. And honestly, this is where a lot of crocheters immediately panic because now we have abbreviations, parentheses, and asterisks all in the same row. But don't panic because it's still the same concept you've already learned. All right, let's read it out loud slowly and crochet.
Chain 1. Single crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've made it to the parentheses. 2 single crochet into the next stitch. Back into the same stitch. Single crochet into the next stitch. We're going to repeat that 3 times. That was 1. Let's do it again. 2 single crochet into the next stitch. 1, back into the same stitch. 2, single crochet into the next stitch. That's 2 times. 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And single crochet into the next stitch. And that is your 3rd time. Now we made it to the asterisk. Now we're going to start all over at the beginning of the pattern by placing a single crochet into the next 5 stitches.
Now, if you've been avoiding written crochet patterns completely and only using YouTube tutorials, I get it. A lot of crocheters learn that way. But here's something that helps tremendously a lot with crochet. YouTubers, including myself, create both video tutorials and free written patterns on their website. So always check in the description box because there's usually a pattern link in there. And in my videos, I intentionally put the written rows directly above the screen while I'm teaching. So instead of just copying what I'm doing, you connect the written pattern to the hand movements in real time. And if your crochet projects keep getting wider, shrinking, or your edges never look straight no matter how careful you are, there's a really good chance the problem isn't your tension. It might be your actual turning chain. And recently, I tested multiple turning chain methods side by side to see which one actually creates the straightest crochet edge. And one of them performed way better than the other. So watch this next video here because this is one of those small crochet changes that can completely change how professional your projects look.